Hey there, my friend. It's Dr. Anthony Balduzzi, and I want to welcome you back to another episode here on the Fit Father Project podcast. And boy, do we have an amazing conversation today because we are joined by one of our very own Fit Father brothers, Dan Blant, coming to us from the United Kingdom. And this is a really powerful conversation because Dan shares the kind of amazing results he achieved in just 90 days following the Fit Father 30X program series. So he lost around 35 pounds. And as he says, like 2 stone plus around 5 or 6 extra pounds. So he lost weight very quickly following FF30X. And now he's already switched on to old school muscle and he's focused on building muscle. And he's in his first week on that program. But what I love about this conversation is not just the great results that Dan achieved in such a short time, it was actually his process. And this is a conversation where Dan gets very deep into how he actually got himself motivated, what he went through and some of his perspectives on how to reframe the different challenges and obstacles that he has in his life. Because like many of us guys in the Brotherhood, Dan's a busy guy. I mean, he works in construction as a site manager. He is engaged now to Kelly, who they're going to get married soon. They have across of them 6+ kids, and he's remodeling his house, and he experienced all the aches and pains and the ups and downs that so many of us do. Yet he was able to finally get himself up and break through and develop a very powerful mindset. So as you're listening to this, I recommend you honestly just take some of Dan's direct habits and behaviors. He does a very few particular things in the morning when he wakes up to get his mindset right and to get himself focused. And he talks about what he did in his very early days when he wasn't feeling very motivated, when he was struggling to write his mission statement, to now where he wakes up energized and focused, how all of his fitness is getting him, or he like has muscle now and veins are popping and he's lost so much weight and he's now actually helping his teenage son get healthy too. So this has become such a whole lifestyle thing for him in such a short amount of time. And that's not by accident. He's doing very intentional things. And you're going to get that from this episode. And it's also just great to hear another powerful story of one of our guys in our Brotherhood getting after it. And I know if you're listening to this and you're part of our Brotherhood on Facebook and our communities, Dan has been checking in and getting so much value from your story. So it's so cool now that we get to celebrate Dan and his journey on this podcast. Without further ado, let's get into today's conversation with Fit Father Dan. All right, Dan, welcome officially to the Fit Father Project podcast, my friend. I'm so happy to have you here.
Hi, Dr. Anthony. How you doing? You okay?
Yeah, doing okay. And I think your beautiful accent belies the fact that you're one of our brothers that is overseas. So on that very note, I'd love for you to introduce yourself to all the guys that are listening, your name, your age, where you're from, and anything you'd like to share about your family and work.
Well, I'm Dan. I'm from Derbyshire in the UK. I also spent a bit of time living in Shropshire as well. I'm 41. I've got 5 children between myself and my partner Kelly, my fiance. Yeah, the ages range from 10 to 16. One boy and the rest of them girls. So I've got my hands full.
Yeah.
So really, my sort of hobbies really is with as I was saying before. Seems to be I'm in construction, so spend a lot of my time working on the house at weekends, doing bits and pieces on the house. Just built a house. Yeah, and really, to be honest, my main sort of hobby now is fitness, and thanks to you, I've got back into it because I kind of lost my love for it a long time ago, and with the stresses of work, I've got quite a high pressure job. Mm-hmm. It sort of really took its toll. I've really got back into fitness and found my passion again.
That's beautiful. And like, how long have you been using Fit Father and getting really focused on your fitness? What's the time frame that people can understand where you've gone in this amount of time?
I think it's just over 3 months. I've been doing that. I've just started old school muscle this week. So I'm doing my second strength workout tomorrow morning.
Nice.
So I've been through FFX 30, isn't it?
Yep.
The two through phases of that, which is just awesome. I love it. It's hard, really hard to begin with. I was really, really struggling when I first started. I think I was quite heavy. I can't remember what the difference is now, but it's 17 stone 4, so I'm not quite sure how much it is.
Yeah, that's in pounds. That's about 245. I had to look it up, but it's pretty heavy. Yeah.
245. I just felt like absolute crap. My brain fog was just awful. And I remember I was sitting here and I was trying to write my mission statement and I could not concentrate to think. And because I got a lot on with work and it was just all a bit much. And I had to actually sort of put it down for a couple of days and come back to it and then sort of write it out. Since then, I've sort of rewritten it. But it's been one hell of a journey.
Well, let's take guys through. I want a little snapshot. So you started at like 17 stone 4, and you obviously switched to old school muscle. So you reached a weight that you were pretty happy with. What did you get down to in your weight during those 3 months or so using the weight loss program?
So at my lowest, which was last week, I went down to 15 stone 6, which is that like 211, 212 pounds, something like that?
Yep, exactly.
And you know what? The most effective thing I found for weight loss was fasting. It's been really good. And I've been advising some friends and family to sort of jump on board. And a lot of work colleagues have noticed a difference and family. And I've been talking to them about it. And they've been doing it as well. But I actually
nice.
I did a 3-day fast a few weeks ago. I think it was about 6 weeks ago.
Nice.
And I never ever thought I would ever be able to not eat for 3 days ever. But I watched a documentary with Chris Hemsworth on the Discovery Channel. I don't know if you've seen it, called Limitless.
Yeah. And
he actually does a 3-day fast. And I watched it and I was like, well, if he can do it, surely I can do it. And I've heard you talking about it, watched your videos on it on YouTube and heard other guys talking about it. And it was sort of stuck in the back of my mind. 24-hour fast, I could handle it. It was fine. I enjoyed it and I felt really good. But there's so much benefits for doing it long term. It's just absolutely phenomenal. And I really, really wanted to get focused on and a little bit kind of obsessed with my weight loss and really sort of channeled. And I had to go to the dentist and I had to have a couple of fillings and it was really painful. And then when I got back, Kelly made some dinner for me. I said, I just can't eat it. It's just, I couldn't even open my mouth afterwards. And then afterwards, I'll have my dinner later on. And then no, I couldn't eat. And then I thought, you know what? I'll try this 3-day fast because I thought the following day. And that was it. I just did it. And the first day, once the sort of everything worn off from the anaesthetic and the toothache and stuff, I felt fine. Felt great on the first day. Really, really good. The second day, bear in mind, I was still driving to work. So it was, at the time I was working on the site, was about just over an hour away. And it's, quite full on sort of site management, walking around the site. And and the second day was more of a struggle. I really felt it. And then I crashed out on the sofa when I got home that night. But then the third day, wow, it was like something else. Like I must have like hit full on ketosis.
Yeah.
I just was like my whole body was like changed inside and felt so good. But then it was strange because when I got to have my meal, obviously I can't remember what I had. I think I might have had some fruit and possibly a protein shake or something like that. first. And then a couple of hours later, I had an evening meal, but I struggled to eat like for a bit, just in my body just to get used to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the following day, we went to a concert with Kelly's girls, and I just felt like $1 million. And there's a photo that I sent you on there at the Arctic Monkeys concert.
Yeah.
And that was like, I felt like I've just like shed a new skin, or like I would like been born again. It was brilliant. And from then on, my training and my muscle gain was just brilliant. Everyone was saying, because they were like, at work, I was telling them what I was doing, this, you're completely mental. You're completely mad. What are you doing? I was like, no, I'm doing this because of this. It's your body's going to sort of rejuvenate all the cells, getting rid of all these toxic cells, and you stop digesting food, so you're going to repair all these cells, and it's good for your long-term health and cancer fighting and all this sort of stuff. And obviously fat loss is just a byproduct of it, really. And yeah, since then, like, I've done it. Loads of people are like, oh, Dan, tell me about this fasting and everything. We're all like jumping on the bandwagon. It's like, well, look, I've set up a Instagram page now. I'm just documenting my journey of what I'm doing, the food I'm eating, and stuff like that. And I've become an ambassador. So the links at the top of the page to direct it to your website. So hopefully some guys and girls will take it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, after I'd done the 3-day fast, my muscles just almost like ballooned, and my training was really good. And people were like noticing, like, damn, your muscles are growing every day. and it's like I could really see it. And then now, none of my clothes fit me. None of them. I'm actually, because my body shape's changing quite a bit, and buying some second-hand clothes or vintage, and just because we're going on holiday, I'm not going to just get a whole new wardrobe, just getting stuff for the holiday, stuff like that. But I'm now wearing trousers. I bought some new trousers for work, because one of my colleagues said, Dan, your clothes look really baggy on you now. I was like, I do. So I went to the shop and bought some new shirts. So I went from, I was just size 17 and a half. So one of those pictures I sent you was at a wedding, and I was a size 17 and a half then. And these shirts I bought at size 16 collar. And the trousers are a size 32. And like, I think I was like, all my trousers were 36, and I think I might have had a size 38. And yeah, just brilliant.
That's phenomenal. I want to just emphasize how cool it is that, first off, you found the fasting aspect of this program so powerful, and then you're also just kind of being an ambassador, like literally and figuratively, to get more people on board. And the proof's in the pudding, like how you felt like your body transformed there and the body shape. And I know you also got a scan at your gym too that was showing pretty much similar things with actual data to what you were feeling. The fat mass is going down, muscle mass is going up. Tell me about that.
So I've only just joined the gym last week.
Yeah.
Because I've been training at home. I've built my own gym in the house, and I've got a squat rack with a pull-up bar on. I've got a rower and some free weights and a bench, and just some like straps, elasticated straps. So obviously, starting article muscle, I need to make sure I'm in the gym. So the first thing I did was got my body fat measured. It was the first reading last week was 19.3%, and I was like, oh, is that right? I'm sure that's not right, because they said to me, oh, you got quite high levels of water. And then I thought, well, I'll go this week and see what it is. So it's dropped down to 17% now in a week. And my weight has stayed the same. My muscle mass has gone up very nearly a kilogram.
By about a kilo. Yeah.
About a kilo. Yeah, so I'm just like really, really pleased that. And they said as well, my in-body score was 97. So it says
Out of
here
100.
Yeah,
so
out of
like
100.
That's a pretty fair report if you ask me.
Yeah. So yeah, it's certainly, Johnny, it's certainly getting some results.
Mm-hmm.
But I think more than anything, what I focused on at the beginning was my mindset. That was my biggest thing. I'd sort of slipped into a really bad cycle of, I don't know, stress from work, overeating. I was like on a Friday in construction, we'd always sort of go for either like a big breakfast or a big sandwich of bacon and sausage and eggs and stuff like that. And it was just getting really bad. And I just wasn't looking after myself. And I was coming home at night and just falling asleep and feeling really tired and lethargic. But obviously finding the program and getting sort of into it, I couldn't start straight away. I needed to sort of set my stall out. I needed a week to sort of read through all the information, get all my nutrition right. I sat Kelly down and said, look, this is what I'm doing. I'm serious about it. It's going to be, I've got to make a change. And the first thing I did was get my mind in gear. And I think that is the massive thing that everyone has to do when they're first starting training or get into a program or whatever your goals are you want to achieve, is you have to get your mind in gear. Your mind can take you wherever, or you can go down the right paths. Once I had it sort of focused, I wrote down my goals and then said, right, okay, on that Monday, that's when I'm starting. And cracked on. But I've had many sort of times when I've been really fit and strong, like over the years. I sort of had setbacks in life from different injuries and accidents and stuff like that, which has quite to sort of knock me back. And I really feel like this time that's it. I'm settled now, got my family, they're all happy and sorted, got my own gym, I've got a good job and stuff like that. So I can really concentrate on myself, being the best I can be for my family. And incidentally, one of the things I wanted to sort of talk to you about, which might resonate with other fathers as well, is I separated from my ex-wife probably, I think, 8 years ago, I think 10 years ago. And there's a little bit of distance now. I've had to move for various reasons. I had to move back to Derbyshire, which is slightly further away from my children than I want to be. So I've got my three, which is Sebastian, Serena, and Allegra. So I have to travel to pick them up on Friday, and then I drop them back off on Sunday, and I have them in the holidays as well. But it's been difficult having a good relationship with my son, because I needed that bond, and it's always been a bit difficult with the distance and stuff. And so I've been doing the house and stuff, so I haven't really been. It took about a year to get the house built, and I really the children sort of, they had to just sort of fend for themselves a little bit, and I certainly wasn't there, because every night and every weekend I was working on the house. Yeah. It's to provide, we've got an awesome home. It's like a dream home now. It's just amazing. Yeah, it wasn't great, and it sort of affected mine and my son's relationship. Mm-hmm. And now we sort of come back together a bit, and I found out recently that he was being bullied at school, which was very, really upsetting for me. And you can't really do much about it, because they need to deal with themselves. The school they can sort out to a certain extent. But there will always be bullies in life. There'll always be sort of bad people. And he got bullied because of his weight. And then he just took it on himself to start losing weight. And I noticed he wasn't eating very much over a sort of few weeks. And then he came over one time and he just hardly ate anything. I was like, Sebastian, you've got to eat something. You've eaten nothing, hardly anything. I was talking to him about what's happened. I said, right, that is it. You're stopping this now. Whatever's happened with this, we're going to get you on a training program and I'm going to get you eating well. And you need to build some muscle. If you're worried about how you look and what people think of you, then come and do some training. And at first, he wasn't really sort of interested. And he was, I'll come and do a few press-ups and it hurts and stuff. And only sort of light stuff. He's about to turn 13 next month. And now he's getting into taking some protein just a couple of times when he trains at home. I've written him a little routine. He's got some dumbbells. He does a little bit of a circuit at home.
Nice.
At the weekends, he comes here and he trains with me. And it's just absolutely awesome that we can train together. And then he's sending me pictures saying, Dad, this is what I've eaten today. I've had some chicken and rice, or I've had some fish and whatever. And I'm like, well, where's your green leafy veg? Why have you got any broccoli? Where's your spinach or something like that? And then he's like, I'm not eating any green vegetables at all. He said, I'll eat peas. But do you know what? It's just been great because for me, that's a massive, massive thing.
Yeah.
To be able to sort of get that back with him and sort of support him from a distance, help him with what he's going through at school. And then we can both do something together, training in the gym. And I think he's really in the sort of future, he's really going to sort of gain from that. And then we've booked for the end of August. We're going away to North Wales. I'm going to take him to climb the north face of Tryfan.
Nice.
So it's quite a big mountain to climb. And there's a little bit of scrambling. So I don't need any ropes or anything like that.
Yeah.
And then we've got a day sort of mountain biking, and then we've got another activity we're going to do as well. So we're there for 3 days just together at Lowe. So that's like just one of the things that sort of come good sort of out of this program. And not only that, there's Sebastian, my partner, my fiance Kelly. She's got into training on the back of this as well. I think she's getting on for losing about 10, 14 pounds so far. And she's now training 4-5 times a week and do resistance training. And she loves it now. And I'm writing the programs, and she's like, she said to me, oh, you need to, what routine am I doing next month? And I said, I haven't worked it out yet. She said, make sure it's resistance training, because I can't do any cardio because it's not good for me. And it must, resistance training burns more calories. And then that's the one I want to get toned up. And I was like, that's great coming from her saying that. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Because previously when we first met, she was just doing loads and loads of running. But now she realised that actually the sort of metabolic resistance training is better for her body. And she's noticed the change in shape. Unfortunately, I took some photos, but they've disappeared off my phone. I can't find them anywhere. But she's had an amazing, she wouldn't want to share any photos anyway, but she's had an amazing transition as well. So she's going out there and ordering new clothes and got a new found confidence as well.
Dan, I gotta say, man, like, it was cool in the beginning to hear like the part one of just the impact on you and how physically fit you feel and how much you've lost and all that. But like this part two about how just 3 months into this lifestyle, it's already affecting your family in such a massive way is incredible. Like your son, it's to me, it's like so poetic how the exact thing he's struggling with is meeting you at this exact point in your fitness journey. And now you're already confident writing programs for your family. Like, man, that's what being a fit father is all about. Like leading by example, getting yourself healthy, helping your family do it too. And I imagine it just is bonding you to Kelly, to Sebastian. It's like you're being bonded all over the place. And amazing, brother. Seriously.
Yeah.
So happy to hear all that.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Hey, it's Dr. Ray. I want to quickly pause this episode to thank you for listening to this Fit Father podcast. I am just blown away at how amazing this podcast has become. I had no idea when I started FFP around 10 years ago that it would grow into such an impactful mission. And I want to let you know that I am so grateful to be connected to you in this lifetime. And on behalf of me and my entire team, we are so grateful to be in your life, helping you get and stay healthier for your family. That's what I want to share. Just some gratitude from my heart to yours. Let's get back to today's episode. How has your mindset changed? Like you mentioned in the beginning of our conversation today that you were like, you're sitting down, writing your mission statement, and your brain is foggy and you're struggling, but you managed to kind of like break through. You realized it was important enough and you got there. So talk to us about like the journey of your mindset, maybe like where you're at today and how your mindset is, and describe that, but like how you got there too, and some of those transitional phases too, stuff that you did, changes that you noticed. Describe your inner experience now.
Well, this kind of goes deep. This really does go deep, because just after Christmas, my grandmother died. She passed away. She had a stroke. She was in her 90s. She's a picture of her sat here in front of me now. She was nearly 94, and she'd had an amazing life. And her and my grandfather were a great inspiration. I used to be in the Marines, and it was my granddad's influence that sort of got me through. That was sort of 20 years ago, really. Before she died, we all the family were going over to see her all the time. There was always someone constantly with her, and she got some photo albums out, and she showed me something. I don't know whether you received the picture of me in hospital. It's this one here. You see that?
Yeah.
So that picture. Now, I joined the Marines when I was 16, straight from school, and my mindset there was just like I knew exactly what I wanted to do, how I was going to do it. My fitness was amazing, and basically, my gran showed me this picture. And she said, "Look at you. That's such a shame you had that accident, because you were so fit, so healthy, so strong, so sort of driven and stuff." Because that was me after that car crash. I dislocated my spine.
Wow.
And I got medically discharged. So I got subluxation C7 T1, and I had to have it operated on. And we had a little bit of a chat and a bit of a heart to heart about that. And that was really my why. That was my sort of anchor. And it was like, it was almost like having like a big dagger smashed straight into my heart. And then that was my leverage, you know what I mean? I was like, right, that is it. But it sort of, I needed something to build up.
Yeah.
She passed away, and I went to a wedding, and I felt awful at the wedding. And really, it was from that point that I felt so bad about myself. And I just remembered that conversation that I had with my gran, and she was saying how I used to be when I was younger. And I was like, there's no reason why I can't be like that again. Just because I'm 41 doesn't mean I can't do what I was doing when I was 20. I've just got to basically take my head for a shit, if you excuse my French, and I've got to get myself sorted. And that was it. I found your program the following day, and then I got myself sort of wound up and sort of stuck into David Goggins, really, and listened to some sort of motivational videos, and that really got me sort of spurred on. And I think that's where it all sort of started. And I used to, when I first started, in the beginning of sort of few weeks, I used to wake up in the morning and I'd have my goals written down on my phone, and I used to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning to train. And it was difficult to get up at that time to get into a routine, but to do it for a few weeks, it's fine. And now it's just I'm up and I'm gone. But I used to read my goals, and there was someone I found on Instagram and thought, right, I want to visualize, I want to be like him. That's it. I want his. I almost had a little bit of a bromance with this guy. I can't remember who he was, and that's it. I want to visualize. I want to be like him. That's it. And then I started to visualize myself, and that was my motivation. So I'd go in the gym, and when I was struggling, I used to have this sort of analogy where I'd have you on my one shoulder and this guy and my sort of future self on the other shoulder. And then whenever I was struggling, I used to think, right, come on then, your future self and Dr. Anthony are here. You sort it out, Daniel, let's go. And I just used to like grip myself and get myself charged up and sort of go for it. And really, I think that's it, is visualizing what I wanted to be. And I kept on doing that over and over and over again. I'm not very good at journaling. I write notes on my phone. And when I go to work, I tend to sort of, and when I drive home from work, that's when I tend to digest everything. And then I think of what's gone well during the day, what's gone right. And that's sort of my time to sort of decompress and set myself up to ready for either going for work or coming home or whatever. And when I also tend to listen to sort of various different podcasts, your podcasts, and all sorts of different ones to do with health and nutrition and well-being, and basically just as much information so I can just have a whole like arsenal of information and just absorb it. And I've just found like all I want to do is just absorb as much information to do with health and fitness. It's like it's become a healthy obsession.
Yeah.
And that's really that's it really is I found that motivation and that discipline that I had when I was younger in my early 20s. And there's been guys I know I've met at work, and they've made comments and saying, oh well, we're past it now, we're in our 40s and it's this and we've got aching muscle and we just have to take it easy. And like, no, I don't accept that at all. You do not have to do that at all. You need to sort yourself out, and you need to get to the gym and you need to exercise, you need to be healthy. It's just because you turn 40, that is just the beginning. Yeah. So that's how I got my discipline really, and sort of motivation and mindset is
that's powerful. And I mean, I know from that moment you shared with your gran where she was showing you the old pictures, like, damn, she'd be proud of what you've accomplished in this amount of time. And it's so cool that you're able to use that painful moment where she like saw the greatness in you and you knew that was still possible for you. And I like how you described in the early days, it was like a lot about visualizing and really like stepping into that and reading your goals, keeping them in front of you, visualizing, Goggins. And now there's this next phase that now that you're in routine and momentum, you pop up early in the morning to get your workouts in, you feel good. You're now in this new phase of like absorbing and learning. So at first it's about like motivation and sorting your mindset. And then it's about you have it sorted to a certain level. So now it's like absorbing information and just like expanding and now sharing it with other people. And you're tackling new adventures, right? FF30X workouts. Now you're into OSM and that's new and exciting. So it's just cool to see the kind of map of the journey you've been on so far and the different stages and how it's all so interconnected.
Yes, It's fantastic. It's a great program. And you know what, as well, having the accountability on the Facebook pages has been great, because one of the things I do in the morning is when I wake up is I actually now I've sort of stepped it up a little bit level, because I kind of lost a little bit of faith in myself and my well-being previously, and I've done a lot of soul searching since, and I now I have a list of affirmations that I read every morning. So the first thing I do, I don't do anything else, is I read my affirmations, and then I read my goals. And then I go and look at, right, I check up on the Fit Father Facebook page, sort of make a few comments and some likes, and check up on what other people are doing as well. And because that's been great, having that sort of accountability. Everyone needs that. You can't, you need to be held accountable for your fitness and health. And I think certainly in the early stages, when you really need that support, and having the guys there to go to and contact and just speak to and say, oh, I've done really well, but then I struggled with this. And I know I emailed Ben, because one of the things I've done in the past is I came in from mountain bike a couple of years ago. I dislocated my collarbone and I had to have it operated on. And I did actually get really fit. I was on a another program then with a similar sort of thing with Funk Roberts. I think you might have heard of him. But then,
oh yeah, Funk Roberts,
yeah. And then I was a couple of months in, 3 months in, and then Father's Day I went off mountain biking with some friends, and then going too fast and came from mountain bike, collarbone went, and that was it. Bang, like great. I've now dislocated my collarbone, got to have an operation. I'm going to be off work for 2 months, can't train. And then on top of it, we've just bought a house, which we need to renovate, and I'm doing all the work. And it's just like, oh God, like what's going on? And yeah, I sort of just have to build myself back up again. And I've had a few episodes like that in the past where I've had to sort of build myself up again and up and again.
Yeah.
And that there's a lot in life where you have to do that, where you get knocked down and you have to keep getting up and pushing yourself and pushing hard and working through your injuries and stuff. And that I was going back to, so when I spoke to Ben, because I was really struggling with my shoulder, because when I first did it, and then my rehab after the operation, I spent a month, 6 weeks to rehab, and then I had to get on with working on the house. And my rehab was knocking down walls and loading up bricks and cutting all the rubbish out of the garden, stuff like that, and just manual labour. And it wasn't good at all. It never. So I don't think it quite healed like it should have done, but I couldn't do anything about it. I've got to get the house done for my family. And Ben was really helpful with some sort of exercises to do to strengthen it. And also, I did your I forgot what it's called now, but you got a program on the website specifically for, is it body tune?
Yeah, body tune up. Yeah, total body tune up.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like he used to sit in the living room with the children, and they'll be and Kelly, they'll be watching TV, and I'll be lying on the floor doing my exercises.
Yeah, that's awesome. You did the shoulder. Did you do the shoulder ones or the spine ones?
Shoulders and back. Yeah, just did it loads. Just kept on doing loads and loads. And sort of got better. And then internal, external sort of rotation. So with my bands and Ben was saying just do Arnold presses and shrugs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I brought it back. Because It is, to be honest, I don't know, but previously I'd got the muscle here on my sort of deltoid.
Yeah.
It just hadn't gone back. It hadn't developed the same way as my other side. And now it sort of seems to have equaled out a little bit.
Nice.
But I was quite conscious because I've got a bump. It's reduced. I don't think it'll ever go back to what it was. But yeah, it's certainly sort of gone back now. Yeah.
Nice. Well, I think in like what you said about you just got to have the ability, the skills, the motivation to dust yourself off when things happen and get back up is a really strong message. And I want to ask you 2 questions in closing of this conversation. The first one is for you now, what does it mean to be a fit father? Like, what does fit father mean to you based on your experience?
Well, what does it mean? It means a lot. It means a hell of a lot. It's sort of my lifestyle now, and it's sort of become part of me, part of my lifestyle, which develops into my relationships with work and family. Yeah.
Yeah.
It encompasses everything. I think the holistic approach to it is the best way to describe it.
Yeah. Well said. And it's like, I hear that for you, like your fitness is now this constant structure, this through line that I just see you every morning waking up, doing your affirmations, checking in on your fitness, getting your accountability, checking in on your goals. And it's like that creates a frame in your mind every day. And then you carrying that into your family and your work, and everyone's noticing changes is beautiful. And I guess my last question here is there any advice that you'd like to highlight, particularly for guys who are in their first 90 days, kind of like you were fairly recently? Like, what's some advice for guys who are early on in the program, or if a guy has fallen off track because something happened, a big injury, family thing, advice for those different types of guys? It could be something you said, or it could be something new.
I think if guys are struggling and they're sort of falling off the wagon a little bit, you've got to dig down deep and find out what your why is, why you're doing it, and really what's stopping you, what is holding you back. I mean, unless you've got some real medical condition, I don't see any problem with doing the program. I mean, my alarm will go off at 4:30 tomorrow morning or 4 o'clock, and I'll be in the gym. And then you can do it. You've just got to take a step back. You've got to put everything in a line and sort of really find out why you're doing this and what you want to achieve, and then sort of dig down deep. It's quite an emotional sort of thing. It's not like, oh yeah, you can't just go through the motions. You've got to give it 100%. But when you actually give it your all, that's when your body starts to thank you for it, and then starts giving you back the results in return. You have to push. It doesn't matter whatever's going on. You have to go through pain. You have to go through hurt. You have to get yourself in the gym and be like in a mess of sweat and aching afterwards and sore. You've just got to go through it, ride through the storm, and then give it 6 weeks, and then you'll be fine. You'll be sailing. It's like, I was thinking about this in the car driving to work this morning. I mean, women go through childbirth and they carry a child for 9 months. All we have to do is to get fit and healthy, is go through a little bit of pain and suffering. And it's not even a strict diet. It's a healthy diet. I eat really well. The amount of suffering that women can go through childbirth, like, there's no excuse. Like, if you put it like that, do you know what I mean? It's like, guys, sort it out. You can do it. Just think about someone else. Like, you're not going to be made pregnant. You can't. No one can make you pregnant. So get on and do it. That's what my motivation is, and that's what my sergeant major used to say to me in the Marines. It's like, well, whenever, like when I was younger, when we were beasted, they'd just smile and laugh and say, well, at least we can't make you pregnant. And that's it. Yes.
Puts things in perspective for sure. And Dan, I want to thank you for this conversation. I mean, a mix of like just your very vulnerable story of your journey, you're opening up and sharing your deep motivations. The success you've had is phenomenal. The impact on your family. Like, I've loved this conversation, and I know a lot of guys are going to get a ton out of this. And I hope that a lot of guys actually literally just model some of your behaviors and your routines, because there's a lot of brilliance in how you live your life, structure your day, and how you think about and focus on your health. And I mean, just thinking about you building your house, overcoming these injuries, driving to see your kids, work, and your fitness. I mean, a lot of guys would take those as excuses, but you take it as an opportunity to get better. And it's so clear that this is like something that helps you feel on fire with your life. So
yeah,
on behalf of our entire Fit Father team, thank you for working this program and being a prime example of what this is all about. And I'm so excited to see the continued progress of your journey through OSM and beyond. You are a beast. You are a fit father. And I thank you, man. This is a great conversation.
Thank you. No, thank you very much. You're awesome too. I mean, it's what you've done. It's your experience and knowledge, passing that on, which is key. That's you.
Thanks.
You're the key. You're the key to unlock the door. So thank you.
Appreciate that. You took the key. You turned the shit out of that thing, though. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate you so much.